They sent death squads at dinner. The cubs chewed through and swallowed the entire army. Part 1. The sun was setting on Helix 4, painting the sky in shades of orange and purple. The small human colony called Nu sat quietly among the green fields and rolling hills. Smoke rose from chimneys. Children played in the streets. It looked like any peaceful farming town, except this one was on a planet 40 light-years from Earth. Director stood at his office window and watched the sunset. He was 52 years old with gray hair and tired eyes. Before coming to this colony, he had spent 20 years in the military. Now he managed 400 civilians on a frontier world. It was supposed to be a quiet retirement. The colony had been here for 3 years. They grew crops. They raised animals. They built homes and schools. The people of Nu were farmers and engineers and teachers. They were not soldiers. They had come here to build a new life far from the crowded cities of Earth. Turned away from the window when his door opened. Doctor walked in with a tablet in her hand. She was 38 years old, the colony's chief medical officer and only biologist. Her dark hair was tied back and she looked worried. "The supply ship left an hour ago," she said, but something felt strange about the crew. Frowned. Strange how? "They asked too many questions about our population, about where the children eat dinner, about our security schedules." Shook her head. "Maybe I am being paranoid." "In this galaxy," said slowly, "paranoid people live longer." He picked up his communicator and called Sergeant, the head of colonial security. Was 45 years old and built like a mountain. He had scars on his face and hands from wars most people had forgotten. "Increase patrols tonight. Something does not feel right." "Understood, Director." Put down the communicator. He hoped he was wrong. He hoped this was just an old soldier's instinct making him nervous for no reason. He was not wrong. In the community hall at the center of Nu, 127 children sat down for their evening meal. They ranged in age from 6 to 16. 3 adult supervisors watched over them, making sure the younger ones ate their vegetables and the older ones did not throw food at each other. Sat at the table near the back, watching her younger brother Minyu push his rice around his plate. She was 14 years old, tall for her age, with sharp eyes and quick hands. She was the fastest runner in the colony and the best climber. The other children looked up to her, though she never asked them to. "Eat your food," she told Minyu. "Mom will be angry if you waste it." Minyu was 12, small and quiet. He did not talk much, but he noticed everything. Right now, he was staring at the window. "The birds stopped singing," he said softly. Looked at him. "What?" "Listen, no birds, no insects, nothing." Listened. Her brother was right. The evening was completely silent outside. That was wrong. On Helix 4, the nights were always full of sound. Insects chirped. Night birds called to each other, but now there was nothing. Across the colony, Elder was watering his garden. He was 67 years old with white hair and a bent back. Most people thought he was just a retired old man who liked to grow tomatoes. They did not know that 30 years ago, Admiral had commanded the largest fleet in human history. They did not know about the weapons he had buried under his vegetable patch, just in case. Stopped watering. He felt something wrong in the air, the silence, the stillness. His old instincts screamed at him. He dropped his watering can and started walking toward the security building. Above the planet, hidden behind the moon, an unmarked ship released 2,000 soldiers. They fell through the atmosphere in drop pods, invisible to the colony's basic sensors. These were a reptilian species known throughout the galaxy for their cruelty and efficiency. They had conquered 31 worlds. They had never lost a war. The commander was named. He was 7 feet tall with gray scales and yellow eyes. As his pod fell toward the planet, he reviewed his orders one more time. Target, human colony designation Nu. Objective, total extermination. Priority target, juvenile population. The Galactic Concord, an alliance of 47 alien species, had decided that humanity was too dangerous. Humans came from a world the aliens called a death planet. Earth had crushing gravity, extreme weather, deadly diseases, and predators everywhere. The humans who survived this nightmare world were considered monsters by galactic standards. And they were spreading. New colonies appeared every year. Human populations grew fast. Soon, the conquered feared humans would outnumber everyone else. The aliens had tried diplomacy. They had tried trade restrictions. Nothing worked. So they chose a darker solution: kill the children. Without a next generation, humanity would weaken and fade. They were happy to do the job. They enjoyed killing. Smiled as his pod hit the ground. His soldiers assembled quickly in the darkness outside the colony. 2,000 elite warriors against 400 farmers. Remember, told his troops, the primary target is the building where the young ones eat. Kill them first. Make it painful. Make it slow. Let the adults hear their children scream. The soldiers laughed. This would be easy. At exactly 1847 local time, the lights in Nu went out. Every building fell dark at once. The power station had been destroyed. In the community hall, children screamed. The supervisors tried to calm them, but it was hard to calm anyone in complete darkness. Grabbed Minu's hand. Stay close to me. Outside, 2 guards on patrol died silently. Blades cut their throats before they could make a sound. The alien soldiers moved like shadows toward the community hall. Sergeant was in the security building when the attack started. He heard the power fail and grabbed his rifle. When he opened the door, 3 soldiers were waiting. Shot 2 of them before the third one hit him in the chest. He fell backward, bleeding badly, but he was not dead yet. With his last strength, he crawled to a hidden panel in the wall. Elder had insisted on installing this years ago, a secret emergency beacon that could not be jammed. Press the button. Somewhere in space, a signal began traveling toward the nearest human naval base. Then darkness took him. They surrounded the community hall, gave the order. His soldiers kicked down the doors and rushed inside, weapons ready. They expected crying. They expected begging. They expected the easy slaughter of helpless prey. The hall was silent. The tables were empty. The children were gone. Stepped inside, his yellow eyes scanning the darkness. Where were they? The building had no back exit. The windows were too small for escape. They had to be here somewhere, hiding. Find them, he ordered. Search every corner. His soldiers spread out. Their boots echoed on the floor. They checked under tables and behind counters. They found nothing. Then one soldier walked past a shadow, and the shadow reached out and pulled him in. His scream lasted 2 seconds. The other soldiers spun around, firing their weapons at nothing. Energy bolts hit walls and furniture, but the children were not where the soldiers were shooting. They were everywhere else. In the darkness of the community hall, 127 pairs of human eyes had adjusted to the lack of light. Human children, born from a death world, carrying millions of years of predator instinct in their blood. They had come to hunt children. They did not understand that they had locked themselves in a building with something far more dangerous. The hunters had become the hunted. They sent death squads a dinner. The cubs chewed through and swallowed the entire army. Part 2. When the lights died, did not scream. She did not cry. Something ancient woke up inside her, something that had slept in human blood for 1,000,000 years. Fear was there, yes, but fear became fuel. Her heart beat fast. Her senses sharpened. In the darkness, she could hear everything. Everyone stop screaming, she said. Her voice was calm and cold. Stop screaming right now. The other children heard something in her voice that made them obey. The screaming stopped. The crying became quiet sobs. Older kids, come to me, continued. Younger ones, stay under the tables and do not move. Do not make any sound. She felt Minyu's hand in hers. Her brother was shaking, but he was not panicking. "Someone is outside," Minyu whispered. "Many people. They are trying to be quiet, but I can hear their feet." Believed him. Minyu always noticed things others missed. "How many?" she asked. "Many, maybe hundreds." His mind worked fast. The power was dead. That was not an accident. Someone had attacked the colony, and they were coming here to the hall where all the children were gathered. She understood what this meant. Someone wanted to kill them. "Everyone listen," she said to the darkness. "We are in danger. Bad people are coming. We need to hide and we need to fight." A boy named Jin spoke up. He was 15, big and strong. "Fight. We are children. We do not have weapons." "Look around you," said. "This is a kitchen. There are knives. There are forks. There are glass bottles and metal trays and chair legs. Everything is a weapon if you are brave enough to use it." She started moving through the darkness, grabbing things. A large kitchen knife went into her belt. She broke a bottle and held the sharp end. Around her, she heard other children doing the same. The 3 adult supervisors tried to take control. Mrs., an older woman who usually watched the youngest children, called out for everyone to stay calm. "Children, please, let the adults handle this." A crash at the door cut her off. Soldiers broke through. Their flashlights cut through the darkness. Their weapons hummed with energy. Mrs. stepped forward. "Please, these are just children. They have done nothing wrong." A soldier shot her. She fell without another word. The other 2 supervisors ran. The soldiers shot them too. Watch from the shadows. Her heart was ice. Her fear became rage. "Now," she whispered. From every direction, children attacked. A group of 12-year-olds jumped on the soldier who killed Mrs. They stabbed him with forks and knives. They bit his arms. They clawed at his eyes. The soldier screamed and fell. Within seconds, he stopped moving. Another soldier aimed his weapon at the attacking children. But before he could fire, Minyu threw a metal pot at his head. The soldier stumbled. 3 teenage girls tackled him. They took his weapon and turned it against his own squad. They were shocked. They had expected crying bobbies. They had expected easy kills. Instead, they faced a nightmare. Human children did not fight like soldiers. They fought like wild animals. They came from every direction. They did not stop when wounded. Pain meant nothing to them. Fear had become something else entirely. A 9-year-old girl named grabbed a metal serving tray. A soldier laughed at her. The little girl smiled, then swung the tray into his knee. When he fell, she jumped on his chest and bit through his throat with her teeth. The soldier's blood was cold, did not care. She grabbed his knife and looked for another enemy. Outside the hall, Commander received reports from inside. His yellow eyes widened as he listened. 17 dead, the report said. 23 wounded. We cannot find targets. They attack from shadows. They do not behave like children. Hissed in frustration. They are small humans. Kill them. Sir, they are eating private. What? The children, they are eating him, sir, while he is still alive. Felt something he had not felt in many years, fear, but he pushed it away. He was a commander of the Dominion. He had conquered worlds. Send more soldiers, he ordered. All of them. Fill that building with bodies if you have to. More poured into the community hall. The battle grew louder and more violent. Energy weapons fired. Children screamed battle cries. Alien soldiers screamed in pain and terror. Minyu had gathered the youngest children and led them into the ventilation system. The vents were small, too small for an adult to follow. The little ones crawled through the darkness, moving toward the back of the building. Where are we going? A 6-year-old named asked. She was scared, but she was not crying. Away from the bad people, Minyu said, and then we will hurt them from behind. He was 12 years old. A week ago, his biggest problem was homework. Now he was leading a squad of children through air vents while a war raged below them. Something had changed in Minyu. In all of them, the galaxy called Earth a death world. Now these aliens were learning why. Back in the main hall, fought at the front. Her knife was red with alien blood. A soldier swung at her. She ducked, rolled, and stabbed upward. The soldier fell. Jin was beside her, using a broken chair as a club. There are too many of them. No, said, there are not enough of them. She pulled a captured energy pistol from a dead soldier and started shooting. Her aim was not perfect, but in the crowded hall, she did not need to be perfect. Every shot hit something. They had numbers, they had technology, they had training. The children had rage. They had the darkness. They had 1,000,000 years of evolution that had turned their ancestors into the deadliest predators Earth had ever seen. Evolution 1. Across the colony, other battles raged. Doctor had heard the first shots and grabbed a surgical laser from her medical kit. It was meant for cutting through flesh during surgery. Tonight, she used it to cut through soldiers. "Where are my children?" she screamed at a wounded. "Where are they?" The soldier just laughed, killed him, and moved on. Elder had reached his garden. His old hands dug into the earth, pulling out the weapons he had buried years ago. Military rifles, grenades, body armor. He had hidden enough equipment for a small army. "I knew this day would come," he muttered. I told them the galaxy would never leave us alone." He loaded a rifle and headed toward the community hall. Other adult colonists joined him along the way. Farmers with shovels, engineers with tools, teachers with whatever they could find. "The children are in the hall," someone said. "The aliens are attacking them." "Then we kill the aliens," replied. "Simple as that." The old admiral's eyes were cold. He had retired to grow tomatoes and watch sunsets. He had hoped to never fight again. But the enemy had made a terrible mistake. They had threatened human children. Back in the hall, the battle reached a turning point. The children had killed nearly 100 soldiers. The floor was covered with bodies and blood, but more aliens kept coming. Saw the reinforcements pouring through the doors. They were going to be overwhelmed. She needed a plan. Then she saw it. They had used breaching charges to blow open the doors. They had left several unused charges near the entrance. Looked around and found the colony's emergency flare gun, stored in a box on the wall for fire emergencies. She grabbed it. "Everyone get to the back," she shouted. "Away from the doors now." The children obeyed. They pulled back, dragging their wounded with them. The thought they were retreating in fear. Commander stepped into the hall. He wanted to see the human children die with his own eyes. Raised the flare gun. Her hand was steady. "You made a mistake," she said. "You attacked us at dinner. We were hungry." She fired. The flare hit the breaching charges. The explosion tore through the front of the hall, killing every soldier near the entrance. Fire spread across the floor, cutting the remaining aliens off from escape. Was thrown backward. When he looked up, he saw a 14-year-old human girl walking through the flames toward him. Her eyes reflected the fire. She was smiling. Behind her, 100 children rose from the shadows. Now said, "It is time for the main course." The children charged. They sent death squads at dinner. The cubs chewed through and swallowed the entire army. Part 3. Fire split the community hall in two. On one side, soldiers screamed as flames ate their scales. On the other side, human children prepared for war. Stood in front of them all. The fire reflected in her eyes. Blood covered her hands and clothes. She was no longer a 14-year-old girl. She was something older, something that had slept in human blood since the first human picked up a rock and killed something bigger than himself. "They want to kill us," she said to the children behind her. "All of us. They came here tonight to end our lives, our families, our future." She raised her knife. "I say no. I say we end them instead." The children roared, not screamed, roared like wolves, like lions, like every predator that had ever hunted under Earth's sun. Commander pulled himself up from the ground. His scales were burned. His arm was broken. Around him, his soldiers were dying. The fire had killed dozens. The children had killed dozens more. His elite army was falling apart. "Sir," a lieutenant called out, "we need to retreat." "No," shouted. "They are children. We cannot lose to children." But they were losing badly. They had trained for years. They had conquered worlds. They had killed millions, but nothing had prepared them for this. Human children fought with no rules. They attacked from below, from behind, from the sides. They used teeth and nails when their weapons broke. They kept fighting with wounds that should have stopped them. A 16-year-old boy named led a group of teenagers against a squad of soldiers. The aliens had better weapons, but had something else. He had rage. His parents were somewhere in the colony. Were they alive, dead? He did not know. All he knew was that these monsters had come to kill children, his friends, his people. Screamed and threw himself at the nearest. The soldier fired, hitting in the shoulder. Did not stop. He grabbed the soldier's weapon and pushed it against the alien's chest. The energy blast burned a hole through both of them. Fell, but the soldier died too, and that was enough. The other teenagers fought harder after seeing sacrifice. They killed the rest of the squad in seconds. In the ventilation system, Minyu and the youngest children reached the back of the building. He found a vent that opened to the outside. Fresh air, freedom. But Minyu did not leave. "Wait here," he told the little ones. "Stay quiet, stay hidden." "Where are you going?" asked. She was 6 years old and covered in dust. "To help my sister." Minyu crawled back through the vents. He was small enough to move quickly. He followed the sounds of battle until he found a spot above the main hall. Through the vent cover, he could see everything. They had set up a communication jammer near the entrance. It was blocking all signals from the colony. No one could call for help, but Minyu could see the machine clearly. He also saw a way to reach it. Minyu kicked open the vent cover and dropped onto a soldier's back. The alien screamed in surprise. Before he could react, Minyu stabbed him in the neck with a kitchen fork and jumped away. The other soldiers turned to shoot him, but Minyu was already running. He was small and fast. Energy bolts hit the floor behind him, always missing by inches. He reached the jammer and looked at it. He did not know how to disable it properly, so he did the simple thing. He picked up a dead soldier's rifle and smashed the machine until it stopped working. Far away, the emergency signal that Sergeant had sent finally broke through. It reached a human naval vessel 3 systems away. Admiral Wu read the message and felt her blood turn cold. "All ships," she ordered. "Maximum speed to Helix 4 now." Back in the colony, the adults had organized. Elder led 30 armed colonists toward the community hall. They moved through the dark streets, killing any they found. The aliens were not ready for this. They had expected farmers. They found warriors. A soldier stepped out of a building and aimed at. Before he could fire, a woman hit him from behind with a farming tool. The blade went through his back. "Good hit," said without stopping. Doctor fought beside them. Her medical training told her exactly where to hurt an enemy. Her surgical laser cut through armor and scales like paper. "The children are in the hall," she said. "I can hear fighting." "Then we get to the hall," replied. "Nothing stops us." They reached the community hall and saw the flames. They saw the bodies, and they saw the children. His heart stopped for a moment. Then she saw at the front of a group of teenagers, covered in blood but standing tall. She saw Minyu near the broken jammer, holding a rifle that was too big for him. Her children were alive, more than alive. They were winning. "Mom," Minyu shouted. He ran to her, and for one moment he was just a 12-year-old boy again, scared and wanting his mother. Held him tight. I am here now." Then she let go and raised her weapon. "Show me where the enemy is." The adults joined the battle. Fresh fighters, fresh weapons. They were trapped now, caught between the armed colonists outside and the children inside. Commander finally understood the truth. He had sent 2,000 soldiers to kill 400 farmers and 100 children. Now his army was dying. "Fall back," he ordered. "Everyone fall back to the landing zone." They tried to retreat. They ran from the community hall, from the colony, from the nightmare they had walked into. But the children followed. Led the chase. She had captured an energy rifle and learned to use it in minutes. Human children adapted fast, too fast. "Do not let them escape," she shouted. "They came to kill us. They do not get to leave." The children poured out of the community hall like a flood. They were covered in blood and burns and wounds, but they did not stop. They could not stop. The thing that had awakened inside them demanded an ending. Elder watched them go. He had seen many things in his long life. He had commanded armies and won wars, but he had never seen anything like this. "What are they?" a younger colonist whispered. "They are human," replied, and someone just reminded them what that means. They retreated across the fields. Behind them, children hunted. Some rode vehicles they had stolen from the colony. Some simply ran faster than alien legs could carry their owners. A soldier tried to hide in a barn. 3 10-year-olds found him and killed him with farming tools. A group of aliens made a stand near a river. Teenage humans flanked them and attacked from 3 sides. None of the aliens survived. Commander ran with the survivors of his army. Out of 2,000 soldiers, fewer than 1,000 were still alive, and that number dropped every minute. "How?" he gasped as he ran. "They are young ones, cubs. How are they doing this?" He did not understand. He would never understand. The Galactic Concord had classified Earth as a Category 9 death world. The aliens knew that humans were dangerous, but they thought human children would be weak, soft, vulnerable. They were wrong. Human children came from the same death world. They carried the same blood, the same instincts. When threatened, when pushed into darkness and danger, they became exactly what their ancestors had been for millions of years. Predators. The most successful predators in Earth's history. Creatures that had hunted everything from mammoths to whales. Creatures that had spread across every environment on a planet that tried to kill them every single day. They had come to slaughter helpless prey. They found something very different. As the first sun of Helix 4 began to rise, the colony of Nu was still standing. The fires were dying down. The sounds of battle were fading. And in the fields around the colony, human children hunted the last of their enemies. Finally stopped running. She was exhausted. Her body was covered in wounds she had not even felt during the battle, but she was alive. Her brother was alive. Most of the children had survived. She looked at the sunrise. It was beautiful, orange and pink and gold. Then she looked down at the dead at her feet. "You came for us at dinner," she whispered. "You should have let us eat." Behind her, the children of Nu gathered. They were tired and hurt and changed forever, but they were still here. The hunters had failed. The cubs had won. They sent death squads at dinner. The cubs chewed through and swallowed the entire army. Part 4. The sun rose over Helix 4, but the night's work was not finished. Commander ran through the wheat fields with what remained of his army. His breath came in sharp gasps. His broken arm hung useless at his side. Behind him he could hear them. The children, still coming, always coming. How many soldiers did he have left? He did not know. Maybe 800, maybe less. His elite force of 2,000 warriors had been torn apart by farmers and their offspring. "Commander," a lieutenant ran beside him. "The landing zone is 2 kilometers away, if we can reach the ships." A shot rang out. The lieutenant fell, did not stop to help him. Stood on a small hill, watching the fleeing aliens through the scope of her captured rifle. She was tired. Her body ached in places she did not know could hurt, but she could not stop. Not yet. "They are heading for their ships," Jin said beside her. He was wounded in 3 places but still standing. If they reach them, they will escape. Then we do not let them reach them, replied. She looked at the children around her. 62 of them had followed the chase. The rest were back at the colony being treated for wounds or too young to continue. These 62 were the hunters now. The oldest was 17. The youngest was 9. 9 years old and covered in alien blood. Split into 3 groups, ordered. Group 1 go left through the forest. Group 2 go right along the river. Group 3 stays with me. We push them toward the cliffs. No escape. The children nodded and moved. No questions, no arguments. They had become something different tonight. A pack, a swarm, a single predator with many bodies. In the colony, the adults worked to save the wounded. Doctor moved from patient to patient, treating burns and cuts and worse. 21 children had been hurt badly enough to need medical care. 3 children had died in the fighting. Stopped beside a small girl named. She was 8 years old. A soldier had broken her arm before she killed him with a broken bottle. You were very brave, told her. Looked up with empty eyes. They killed Mrs. She was nice. She always gave me extra dessert. Did not know what to say. How do you comfort a child who is killed? How do you heal a wound that is not in the body? We will talk about it later, she said finally. For now, rest, you are safe. But shook her head. I do not feel safe, I feel hungry. Understood, the killing had awakened something, a hunger that food could not fill. She had felt it herself when fighting through the colony, the need to destroy threats, to end danger permanently. This was what humans were, this was what Earth had made them, and now their children knew it too. Outside the colony, Elder organized the remaining adults. They had secured the perimeter and eliminated the last hiding in the buildings. Now they watched the fields where the children hunted. Should we help them? A farmer asked. His name was Sung, and before tonight he had never killed anything larger than a chicken. They do not need help, replied. Look at them. Through binoculars they watched the children move. They were not running wildly. They were coordinating, communicating with hand signals they had invented on the spot, flanking, surrounding, hunting. I commanded armies for 30 years, said quietly. I have never seen anything like this. They have no training, no experience, but they fight like veterans. It is instinct, Doctor said. She had joined them, her medical work temporarily done. Evolution. Our ancestors survived by hunting in groups, by communicating without words, by never giving up until the prey was dead. That knowledge is in our blood. Our children just remembered it. Nodded slowly. The galaxy should have left us alone. They should have never taught our children what they are. In the fields, the trap closed. Groups had pushed toward a series of cliffs overlooking a deep river. The aliens had nowhere to go. Behind them were the children. In front of them was a drop that would kill anything. Finally stopped running. He turned to face his pursuers. Around him, roughly 600 soldiers remained. Many were wounded. All were terrified. A human girl walked out of the wheat. She was small, with blood in her hair and fire in her eyes. Behind her came more children, dozens of them, armed with captured weapons and homemade tools. Surrender, said. Drop your weapons, get on your knees. Laughed, it was a broken sound. You want us to surrender to children? To the beings who destroyed your army, replied. Yes. Looked at his soldiers. Some of them were already dropping their weapons. They had seen enough. They had watched their friends die screaming. They wanted it to stop. But was not ready to stop. His pride would not let him. We are the Dominion, he snarled. We have conquered 31 worlds. We do not surrender to prey. Tilted her head. Then you die. If we die, we take you with us. Raised his voice. All soldiers attack, kill them all. Some obeyed. They raised their weapons and charged, but many did not. Many simply stood there frozen, unable to fight anymore. The battle was short and brutal. Children and clashed in the wheat fields. Energy weapons fired, blades cut through air, bodies fell. A soldier grabbed a 10-year-old boy and lifted him off the ground. Before he could throw the child, the boy's sister stabbed the alien through the eye with a sharpened stick. 3 teenagers tackled himself. The commander fought hard. He was strong and trained. He wounded 2 of them badly, but the third one, Jin, got behind him and hit him in the back of the head with a rock. Fell. Jin stood over him, breathing hard. "Do not kill him," called out. "We need him alive." Jin wanted to argue. This monster had ordered the deaths of children. He deserved to die, but was right. They needed information. They needed to know who had sent the fighting ended within minutes. The who had charged were dead. The ones who had surrendered were prisoners. Looked at the survivors. 143 aliens knelt in the field with their hands behind their heads. 600 more lay dead in the wheat. "How many did we lose?" she asked. Jin checked with the other groups. 12 more hurt, no one dead. Felt something loosen in her chest. They had won. They had actually won. Then she felt her legs give out. Jin caught her before she fell. "You need rest," he said. "I need to finish this." "You did finish it. Look around. It is over." Looked, the sun was fully up now. The fields were covered with bodies. In the distance she could see the alien ships. They were not going anywhere. The children had captured them too. It was over. 2,000 elite soldiers, sent to kill children at dinner. Now, less than 150 were alive. The rest had been killed by their intended victims. Let Jin help her sit down. Around her the other children were doing the same. The rage was fatting. The hunger was satisfied. Now there was only exhaustion and pain and a deep, hollow feeling. What had they done? What had they become? An hour later, the human naval fleet arrived. Admiral Wu had pushed her ships faster than they were designed to go. She had expected to find a massacre. She found something very different. The Admiral's shuttle landed near the community hall. She stepped out with a squad of Marines and stopped dead. Human children sat in the grass outside the hall. Many were wounded. Many were covered in blood. Between them stood captured soldiers, tied up and guarded. A young girl approached the Admiral. She was maybe 14, with dark hair and tired eyes. "Admiral Wu," the girl asked. "Yes, who are you?" "My name is, we have been waiting for you." Wu looked around in disbelief. "Where are the enemy forces?" "Dead mostly, some are prisoners," pointed at the kneeling. "Their commander is alive. He has information you will want." "Dead how? There were supposed to be 2,000 soldiers." Did not answer. She just turned and walked back to her brother, who was sitting against a wall with his eyes closed. Admiral Wu stood there for a long moment. Then she looked at her Marines. "Get medical teams down here, now, and get me a secure channel to Earth Command." She had many questions, but looking at the children of Nu, looking at what they had done and what they had survived, she knew one thing for certain. The galaxy had made a terrible mistake. And the galaxy was going to pay for it. They sent death squads at dinner. The cubs chewed through and swallowed the entire army. Part 5. Commander sat in a steel chair, his hands bound behind his back. The interrogation room was cold and bright. 2 human soldiers stood by the door. Across the table sat Director and Admiral Wu. Had been awake for 2 days. The humans had not tortured him. They had not needed to. They just sat there, asking questions, waiting for answers. And broken in spirit after watching children slaughter his army, eventually talked. "It was sanctioned at the highest level," he said. His voice was hollow. "The Galactic Concord voted. 41 species agreed. Kill the human children. Stop the next generation. End the spread." Admiral Wu's face was stone. 41 species voted to murder children. "They are afraid of you, all of them. You breed too fast, you adapt too quickly, you survive everything," laughed bitterly. They called your young ones easy targets, soft, vulnerable. They were wrong. Yes, said they were. Looked up at the director. I have seen many things in war. I have killed thousands, but I have never seen anything like your cubs. They fight without fear. They kill without hesitation. When my soldiers begged for mercy, the children laughed. Did not respond. What could he say? The children of Nu had done what they needed to survive. He could not condemn them. He could only mourn the innocence they had lost. What happens now? Asked. Now, Admiral Wu said, humanity responds. The news spread across the galaxy within days. Human media called it the massacre at Nu, but the truth was different. It was not a massacre of humans. It was a massacre of the forces sent to kill them. Final count, 1,847 soldiers dead, 143 captured, 10 escaped to their ship and fled before the children could stop them. Human casualties, 7 adults dead, 34 adults wounded, 3 children dead, 21 children wounded. The numbers shocked everyone. A force of 2,000 elite soldiers had been destroyed by farmers and their children. The Dominion, which had never lost a war, had been humiliated by teenagers with kitchen knives. The Galactic Conquered tried to deny responsibility. They claimed the attack was unauthorized. They blamed rogue elements within the military. But's testimony ended that lie. He had recordings, orders signed by conquered officials, evidence that the murder of human children had been approved by 41 species. Humanity responded. Within 1 week, 12 species from the Galactic Conquered in protest. They had not voted for the attack. They did not want to be associated with child killers. Humanity demanded the expulsion of the Dominion and sanctions against every species that had voted for the attack. The Conquered refused. So humanity entirely. We joined your Conquered in good faith, the human ambassador said in her final address. We shared our technology, we traded fairly, we asked only to be treated as equals. You responded by sending death squads to murder our children while they ate dinner. Those children killed your army and asked for seconds. Remember that. Remember it forever. Because if you ever threaten our young again, we will not send children to fight. We will send everything we have. And there will be nothing left of you but ash and warning signs. The ambassador walked out. She did not look back. On Helix 4, the colony of Nu began to rebuild. The community hall had been too damaged to repair. They tore it down and built a new one in its place, bigger, stronger, with thicker walls and better defenses. But the children were harder to rebuild. Stood by her window looking out at the sunset. She had not slept well since the attack. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw blood. She heard screams. She felt the knife in her hand cutting through flesh. Her mother knocked on the door. "Can I come in?" Nodded. Sat beside her daughter. For a long moment, neither of them spoke. "I killed 14 of them," finally said. "I counted 14 lives. I am 14 years old, 1 life for each year." Took her hand. "You did what you had to do. They came to kill you, all of you. You had no choice." "I know," his voice was empty. "That is what scares me. I know it was necessary. I do not regret it. I would do it again. What kind of person does that make me?" "It makes you human," replied. "It makes you a survivor. It makes you what Earth made all of us long ago." Looked at her mother. "Will it ever feel normal again?" "No, but it will get easier, and you will find new things to live for, new reasons to keep going." Paused. "You saved them, all those children. They are alive because of you. That matters. That will always matter." Did not respond, but she let her mother hold her, and for the first time in days she cried. Across the colony, the other children dealt with their trauma in different ways. Jin threw himself into training. If enemies came again, he wanted to be ready. He asked Elder to teach him military tactics. The old admiral agreed. Minyu became quieter than before. He spent hours watching the sky looking for ships. He trusted nothing anymore. But his pattern recognition, his ability to notice things others missed, became even sharper. Young, the 9-year-old who had fought with a serving tray in her teeth, was asked by a reporter what she thought about the battle. Her answer went viral across human space. "They came for us at dinner," said. "We were hungry, so we ate them instead." It became a rallying cry, a symbol of human resilience. They came for our children ate them. 1 month after the attack, a memorial was built for those who died. 3 children, who had sacrificed himself in the battle, who had been caught in crossfire, who had protected younger children with her own body. Their names were carved in stone. Flowers surrounded the memorial. The surviving children visited every day. Elder stood before the colony one evening and gave a speech. "They called Earth a death world," he said. "They were right. Our planet tried to kill us every single day, predators, diseases, disasters, and we survived. We became the deadliest things on that world, not because we are cruel, not because we love violence, but because we never ever give up." He paused and looked at the children in the crowd. "They thought you were weak. They thought they could kill you easily. They sent 2,000 soldiers, 2,000, shook his head. And you killed them all. You should not have had to. You should have been eating dinner and doing homework and playing games. Instead, you became warriors. That is not fair. It is not right, but it is what happened." He raised his voice. "The galaxy now knows what humanity is. They know what our children can do, and they are afraid. Good. Let them be afraid. Let them think twice before threatening any human anywhere ever again, because this is what we are. This is what we have always been. We are the cubs of a death world, and we do not break." The crowd cheered. The children did not. They just stood there quiet and still, their eyes old beyond their years. 3 years later stood on the bridge of humanity's first true warship. She was 17 now, the youngest officer in the fleet. Her service record was classified. Her reputation was not. The ship was called the Memory of Nu. Its mission: patrol the borders of human space and protect the colonies. Looked out at the stars. Somewhere out there, the Galactic Concord was plotting. Somewhere, other species were deciding whether to attack humanity again. "Let them come," thought. "We are ready." Her communicator buzzed. "Captain, we are receiving a distress signal from the Helix sector. A human colony is under attack." Did not hesitate. Set course, maximum speed, all hands to battle stations. The ship jumped to faster-than-light travel. Around, her crew prepared for war. They were all young, all survivors in their own way, all children of Earth who had grown up too fast. "They never learn," her first officer said. He was Jin, still carrying scars from that night 3 years ago. "They keep thinking they can hurt us." Smiled. It was not a kind smile. "Then we keep teaching them," she said, "until there is no one left to teach." The Memory of Nu screamed through space toward the battle. Behind it, the stars burned with the light of humanity's future. And in that future, there was no room for those who threatened human children. Not anymore. Not ever again.